It's a beautiful Friday here in South Florida. It is Friday, the end of the week. Really looking forward to this weekend. Got a lot of great things happening this weekend. One of the main things, going to see Apollo 13. I believe it's the 30th year anniversary tomorrow at an IMAX theater. So if it's around your area, I highly recommend watching it. I've actually never seen the movie, but I think it's going to be a good movie. Anyway, with all that being said, today's topic is compound movements and free weight exercises, okay? So a couple of months ago, I've been going to the gym for what I would say right now, well, two things. I've been interested in working out since like around 14. I'm 32 now, so that's what, 18 years. If any of you have been involved in working out, you might have remembered a program called P90X, or P90, I think it's called P90X, where they had this DVD that you can follow, had all the movements you had to do for all the different weekdays. It was very easy to follow. It was hard, but easy to follow, and it was fun. And it was like my first view into working out. One of my best friends in high school at the time, Jeffrey, and I, we would sort of compete with each other, and we would get, after it to see who can get the strongest, the fastest. So that's number one. And I've been sort of working out, I've been working out since then, but this last couple of months, I feel like I've been the most consistent I've ever been with it. And if you have been working out, consistency is probably the most important thing. Something that happened though, one leg day many moons ago, I decided to go on the leg press without any sort of warm-up, and my knees, while they felt okay at that time, for like 2 months after that, they were sort of in pain. And that kind of made me shy away from some of the more complex movements, okay? I got very sort of scared of doing any more leg exercises. I kind of neglected my legs for a while, as many of us do, the whole leg day thing. And on top of that, I just kind of got scared of doing the other more complex movements, things with free weights and barbells, and I stuck to a lot of machine movements. So that's, let's say, part 2 of the video, machine movements, okay? Machine movements are good. Honestly, they're pretty great, to be honest. Maybe if you're a beginner, I don't know, but the main drawback of a machine is that you're on a fixed path. So you can imagine if you're doing something like a machine press or a shoulder press, your joints and your whole sort of skeletal structure is on a fixed path. You're not really giving the ability for your body to move in its intended manner, the more natural path, okay? And I think if you're maybe aiming for pure isolation, this could be beneficial because you're really just targeting the muscle. Let's say on a machine press, you're really hitting your pec. On a shoulder, you're really hitting your delts. But to be honest, all in all, I'm not sure if it's the practical thing to do. Unless you really want to be a bodybuilder, you have some specific muscle groups that are lagging, maybe it's not the most practical thing to do. So like 2-3 weeks ago, my knees were feeling okay, and I kind of got into, actually, let me even backtrack further. Once my knees started feeling okay from the leg press, I started slowly incorporating leg extensions. And when I mean slowly, I mean doing the lowest weight, which is like 10 pounds, okay? Which you can still get a very great burn and a great pump if you go very slow, controlled movements on the leg extension. And doing that for a couple of weeks, maybe like 2 months, actually got my knees to re-strengthen again. And it got me to the point where 3 weeks ago, there's 2 new things that I'm doing that I'm very proud of. And one of them is kind of doing this like stretch every single morning. I literally just wake up, whereas before I used to just wake up and try to like get right to my day. Now I wake up and do this thing where I'm like stretching my arms out and lifting my knees up and really just, trying to get the body oiled up and just ready to go, right? Get the joints moving, get the bones moving, get the muscles pumped up, ready for the day, primed. That has really helped a lot. And also doing a longer warm-up before my gym sessions. I used to kind of just do a warm-up directly on the machine. So if I'm just going to use the machine, I'll do some lighter sets on there. But now I go on the elliptical for like 5 minutes if I'm doing an upper day, or I go on the Stairmaster if I'm doing a lower day. And after all this, something I started doing 3 weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, is finally incorporating these free weight movements back into my gym routine. So let me explain to you what I do for my gym routine currently, okay? What has worked for me really good has been a push-pull legs split followed by an upper-lower split, okay? Starting off with that first push day, one thing that I love from that push day is doing the bench press. I finally incorporated a bench press in my routine. Bench presses are amazing. It's such a natural movement. It's a compound movement. And I remember the first day I got back into bench pressing, that first set I did, man, there is nothing that a machine can do that will get you to feel the way that a good bench press will. And let me tell you, I'm not even lifting heavy weight yet. I can't even lift my own body weight yet, because that's the thing. being really good on a machine press will not translate to a bench press, but I have a feeling that if you're really good at a bench press, you probably can lift a lot on a machine press, okay? So I did that first set of bench press and I felt amazing. My shoulders were pumped, my triceps were pumped, my chest was pumped. I felt, honestly, the testosterone just raging through my body. You know, it's such a prime, you're moving so much weight, you know, heavy weight, it has the potential to be loaded up so much. All your muscles are working in tandem to lift that thing up, and it just felt amazing. Nothing like a bench, nothing like a machine press. On top of that, something else I did, instead of doing the fixed path shoulder press, I just did a normal seated dumbbell press, right? Overhead dumbbell press, another great compound free weight movement. There's nothing that a weight, I used to do the lateral raises on the machine. That just sucks so much compared to anything that a dumbbell press can offer you. So if you're sort of in the mix, you're trying to see how to take your shoulder and chest game to the next level, I really recommend doing both of these exercises, okay? Now let's go to the pull day. A lot of things I did here that I wasn't doing before. Pull-ups. Pull-ups are so practical, okay? And if you can get really good at doing pull-ups, and by the way, I do neutral grip pull-ups because it's just better on my wrists. Get really good at neutral grip pull-ups. Amazing, okay? The practical strength you gain from there is unlike anything that you'll get on a pull down. I've seen people do really heavy weights on pull downs not be able to do like 5 reps of pull-ups, okay? But the people that can do like 10, 15, 20 reps on pull-ups can lift a lot of weight on a pull down. Secondly, and this is one that I really never got good at, bent over barbell row. Let me tell you how fast my body adapted to this, right? It's almost like I experienced newbie gains on the bent over barbell row. To start off with, I was doing just the bar, okay? Just the bar, but I noticed very quickly that I must have been doing good form because nothing else was in pain. My lower back wasn't in pain. Just the muscles that were supposed to be pumped were pumped, and it felt amazing, okay? 45 pounds, just the bar, a couple weeks ago. My newest PR so far is 105. I went from 45 to 105 pounds. What is that? That's 60 pounds added, right? 60 pounds added in the matter of like 2 weeks. My body adapted so quickly, and that feeling of just being in that position, lifting that weight, you honestly feel so powerful. Now, of course, if your grip strength isn't very strong, you can be limited by your forearm strength and your grip strength. But I do think, you know, I'm not going to go quick to using gloves or like any sort of handles because I want my grip strength to develop. It's okay if I burn out on grip strength, right? Maybe I'll do barbell rows to begin with, really get those compound muscles moving together. And then if my forearms, they get tired out, maybe in that case I'll go to a machine to just finish it off, right? But I'm getting the majority of my sets through a bent over barbell row. And again, there's no better feeling. Moving forward from that, another movement I've really never done is finally I can say I am doing deadlifts. And again, this is small weight compared to anything else, okay? I started off just doing the bar. And then recently, I think my newest deadlift weight, that would be 50, 45, 105 pounds also. So 105 pounds on a deadlift for me is amazing. Again, experiencing no lower back pain, but experiencing such an amazing pump. Again, that testosterone you feel, that compound movement, you feel your entire body just thicker and stronger and more capable. This is something that I've never experienced on machines. Machines just cannot replicate the amount of strength and power you feel on a free weight movement like this, okay? Moving to leg day, some of the things that I've gotten very excited about. RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, never done them in my life. Using a barbell, I can now feel my hamstrings are still sore from Wednesday when I did the Romanian deadlifts. And again, I've been hitting new PRs in the last 2 weeks that I haven't in a long time, or really ever on a movement like Romanian deadlift. But again, and I keep saying this, but it's true, you're not gonna feel the same way after a Romanian deadlift that you do when you do a lying hamstring curl. If you want to isolate your hamstrings, sure, but the Romanian deadlift just makes me feel powerful. It makes my whole body feel strong. It's all working together. It's more of a mindset thing, you know. It feels like it helps me grow. It's that growth hormone maybe that people talk about when you're working large muscle groups like your legs. Okay, what else do we have? On leg days, I don't do squats yet because, and this is something I've been working on, my ankle mobility, my hip mobility. There's a lot of new stretches I'm incorporating to try and improve this so that way one day I can do squats. But in the meantime, I have just been killing it on walking lunges. And let me tell you, I was doing all those leg extensions, and the leg extensions, yeah, maybe I'll get a pump sometimes on my quads. I was feeling stronger after some time, but getting really good at walking lunges, even just body weight walking lunges, again, it's just no contest. You feel it in your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings. You got to stay balanced. That's the thing about these free weight movements. All your stabilizer muscles that have to work in tandem to keep you balanced, and your hand-eye coordination. Like, you're working so much more than just the muscle, right? Your mind. Think about all the neural connections your mind has to make while doing these exercises, right? I've increased my strength on the walk-in lunge since then. I started off with body weight. Recently, I got to the point where I can hold 15 pounds on each hand, which that might not seem like a lot, but for me, it's amazing. And that's really what bodybuilding and strength training is all about. It's relative to yourself. If you're better than you were yesterday, you are better. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Just worry about your own progress. And then finally, wrapping it up, we have the upper and lower body splits on Thursday and Friday. Pretty much a lot of the same thing. I'm still doing those compound movements, but on these days, since I already get my compound movements earlier in the week, I might decide to do something like a lying leg curl, right, to get more of that isolation. Maybe I will do a machine press to get more of that isolation, but it's all about a balance. The point of this video is just to tell you that if you are only doing machines, I highly recommend you go to a free weight compound movement, and you will notice the difference. Even if you drop the weight, like doing 20-pound shoulder raise or just a bar on the barbell, I am convinced that you will feel more powerful doing lower weights on a movement like that as opposed to heavier weights in a machine. So I think a lot of times, like for example, a bench press, I think a lot of people don't do bench pressing because it's a more complex movement to set up, right? You have to set up the barbell, you have to get the weights. If you need a spotter, you have to find a spotter. I go solo. I have to bug different people for each one of my sets to spot me, and sometimes that's just a little bit of an uncomfortable thing to do. But I also think in that way you're training your social skills, right? You're learning how to approach people in the gym, how to ask for help, how to ask people for a lift off. There's a lot more happening than just your muscles being worked here, right? And then other exercises, like let's say Romanian deadlift, you have to go up to the squat rack. Maybe it's already being used. You have to set up the weights. It's a more complex exercise. It takes time, but things that take time tend to be better for you. There's a reason they take time. They have to be respected. They have to be worked through, okay? These are the things that will improve you. So all this to say, if you're stuck on machines, you know, you've been doing them for a long time, you've probably noticed strength gains, but you will take your strength gains to the next level and so much more adopting these free weight movements, adopting these compound movements. And it's something that I've heard my entire life. My entire lifting life, I always heard, focus on these compound movements, don't worry about the machines. And I feel like now, just recently, up until 32, you know, now I'm hearing it for the first time, and now I feel like I'm seeing the most gains. And maybe that's why people say the 30s are the new 20s, okay? I feel better than I've ever felt kind of in my life at 30. Like, I feel like I'm still on the come up, okay? And maybe it's just a mindset thing, but I just feel like every single day I'm improving, and that's what I'm trying to do, and that's sort of my goal in life. So anyway, happy Friday, everyone. I made it past the first week. I got 5 videos in this week. Super happy. I'm giving myself a little challenge of 30 days, and after that, I'm probably going to keep going, but at least let me get through 30 days. Gonna be filming Monday through Friday. I got Saturday and Sunday off just to relax, hang out with the wife, have a good time, as I think everyone else should. And then come Monday, we're gonna do the same thing again. Okay, I got topics for days. I'm always thinking of new things to talk about. If you like this video format, let me know. If you're someone that goes to the gym and you're into these free weight compound movements, also let me know. Let me know what your current plan is, and let's just have a good conversation. And with all that being said, I hope everyone had a great week. Happy Friday, and as always, I will see you all next time. Later.